I think I'm gonna start this without a further ado because I was listening and once again could like to the spiritual court TV, which um you're amazing and just I'm so grateful, have no words. And as I'm listening to all of this more and more, and then you were completely on to something that I've been also sensing. But one second. I'm living it. I'm living the nightmare. I'm watching my entire family like turned into other zombies or worse, And I'm like, when did I miss? And not just my entire family, but sorry for a bit of a mess. I still don't have like a real good setup, but nor do I using a specific assignment. I guess what do they call it? Judgment angel or something. But I swear, like I'm just a bait for all kinds of spiritual um well, I guess like more I'm thinking about it, I was told that we need to told the message, and that was 2024 maybe, and maybe beginning of 25, and I will speak about there as well. But the message was, well, I mean, there was more than one that COVID is not the last plague, so to speak, that we're gonna have, that we're gonna have more and more. And I'm like, mm, but that wasn't the only thing. And I'm not gonna talk about all the prophecies that came through, but I knew something's coming, and it been feeling. Oh yeah, and then the next message was that, well, I'm not gonna go in depth, but that we need to connect. It's a SOS, save our souls call. It's the future is not grim. It's getting serious out here. in We are pioneering humans discovering how important it is to follow the divine universal laws and human laws as well when you are making some dealings in the spiritual realm, and whether it's divination or whatever. And people need to realize, like, do I have the ranking, do I not have a ranking, have some sort of discernment personally also, if you have an authority to do certain things. Just because human authority gave you an authority, that does not mean you're an authority. Amen. To that, because the false prophets, false kings, false teachers, sages, whatever, like all of that is here. And but also I'm looking at people, and I will get back to the plague. Well, it's a plague and it's a weapon, and it's like when you give something to someone. Well, so think about why Anunnaki left, or why fallen angels were punished. And I don't just mean Lucifer. I mean all 200 of them, or something like that. The original uprising, because there was an uprising before the uprising, and I'm sure this has been going on for a while. They gave humanity knowledge that humanity was not prepared for, and And then the war that's happening in God's realm, whatever, like war before, between God and Lucifer and Michael, whatever is happening up there is in the universe, that like Star Wars, if you want to call them Star Wars, Galactic Federation, or just energies probably that are, if you think the planets are not, I don't know how to say it, alive, don't have consciousness, don't have like, I'm sure they do. Probably more than like one human. Think about it. Like if one human, also a simple concept, we all made out of the same elements. If when it comes down to, never mind like the subatomic particles for sure, but without, smaller, bigger. Watch Ant-Man. And I know it sounds a little funny, but that's a comprehensive sort of representation of how whatever, some things could be very, very big and then they're very, very small, but they're like the same, basically, things. They build the same, they behave the same, they follow the same laws of physics. Which is what I think we need to teach children in schools nowadays, because the knowledge and some of the myths are talking about that, what do you call them? Well, like the magicians, but whatever, well, I mean, there is a legend of like magic and magical creatures and walking the earth and openly, kind of looks like, can't remember what that movie was. Well, like The Witcher is something like that. But I was thinking about a different one. But still, and there was a war going on which was assisted by them. And like we all know that, many governments would have their own astrologists, their own, I mean, tarologists, who knows, psychologists. Basically, those people knew all of that. Like to be a doctor, you were supposed to understand alchemy, understand philosophy, understand, his, like, well-rounded is a word. And now, and even that well-rounded ended up in like at some sort of war. But but like, guess what the plague is now? And that is basically what ended up destroying. So the gods fighting, the gods that are fighting on earth aren't really gods, nor they are representatives of gods. You can call them deities, you can call them whatever you want, maybe higher consciousness beings, but clearly not high enough to not make a mess. Because then, excuse me, oh fuck. Oh, it still is working, and I just swear. So first of all, my cat's here, and secondly, my phone is dying. Like the battery is running out very, very fast. So I'm gonna attempt to not stop it because I don't want to combine it with something else. Last week or something like that, my phone just kept running out of storage. I think I cleaned it up more or less. See, like, it's hard for me to go back to like what I was thinking, so I'm just probably gonna do tarot instead of talking non-stop, because I think I made my point. Magic became so easily available to everyone, and people like kind of hyped it up, going back to roots, etc. Everyone knew the rule. There was one rule, only one rule that everybody needed to remember, and people, as per usual, not only, well, first of all, not understanding the ethics behind your craft is a problem. Secondly, when you say don't harm other people intentionally, I mean, self-defense is of course allowed. That's the trick, though. Self-defense is allowed, not encouraged. In a sense, if there is a problem, you find the solution. If you have to use the same tools as other people are using, but like at least try not to sell your soul to the devil. Don't call on demons. What is wrong with you? Earth, whatever, plunging into darkness. Of course, there are some heavy energies. There's some very dense, heavy energies on Earth that, and you call on them to do what? To support your cause against. Well, first of all, like if you just calling on spirits that were not able to rise because they're too dense and heavy, it means their conscience is probably not light either. So it's like not just fallen angel, because fallen angel could fall and they could rise. It's someone who fell many lifetimes ago probably, or maybe belonged here in the first place, because there were some creatures, prehistoric creatures, whatever you call them, that ate everything. Maybe, who knows, demons, dragons. Sophia made the dragon made everything else. But don't call on them to go and do your dirty work. Because also you have to realize, and I think let's just be open about it. Hopefully, now that karmics are watching, I'm just saying, now that those people who decided that they could do dark magic and justify it with false accusations towards, because at some point they realize that they have to present this to the divine or high council as something that they could justify, and they found reasons to believe lies, or they decided that it's okay because they took money. And so if someone, but if you know energies, then you could tell that the person in front of you is lying. You don't have any attachment to this person, hopefully, so why are you not reading the energy? And if you cannot accurately read the energy, you probably shouldn't be calling on a demon, dumbasses. And so I apologize, but some people say that I'm crazy because I believe in this, and I'm delusional because I believe in that. No, you you just don't like that I can hear all of your gossip and all of your lies and everything else, and I can interpret or predict what you're gonna do next, and all of your Machiavellian tactics and tricks. But what bothers me is like, when did you? And I'm looking at this going like, but the humanity seem to forget like morals completely. What is happening? People don't defend each other. People are watching people like other people suffer as if it's funny, you know, or at least entertaining. People are making bets of who is gonna win this. It used to just be gossip, and now it turned into resonance, and they're picking each other up and they're going against the divine, calling them demons. But you guys should have known, when someone says, don't do this, you need to ask why before you start breaking the rule. Right now I have two major arcana cards that came out: the Hermit, the Magician, and the Devil. And I suppose, that if I was doing tarot, we would find out the difference between the three, because sometimes it's hard to tell, because it's the same as like trying to tell the difference between a narcissist, a psychopath, um, someone who's just good at strategy or Machiavellian person, and like even a sadist, and a simple, lovely, beautiful, deep avoidant. You know, some people just look at everyone, oh, you're avoidant, that's it, that's a problem. Exactly. My dog is asleep. Yeah, she's making some weird noise while she's asleep. Maybe she's being attacked by demons. But seriously, I'm just looking at it going like, wow, you figured out how to tap into something, and you're so happy that you tapped into something. You forgot to figure out what it is that you got yourself into, and before you know it, you know, you sold your soul to the devil. Oh, well, maybe not like that right away, but over time, you know, your debt is growing. More and more demons are coming to collect. But the whole thing is like, this is a psychological warfare. So we're getting angry now, right? Like, well, at least we did. Many of us did. Many people are angry because at the end of the day, they're attacking us. We're sick. Our money are dwindling. We, they're projecting their feelings on us. They're trying to take our man. So of course we're angry, and this whole thing is feeding into each other. Into it's like we're not calling on demons, but I think that what happens is you calling on demons sets off the, what do you call it, emergency alarm in heaven. And so every time you attack, and if you start attacking people who are high ranking, and so when you recognize someone who is talented, who is sweet, who is nice, who is doing well relatively and trying to do better, who is clearly spiritual, please don't attack them. Stop attacking earth angels, because that is when the divine alarm just goes like ding 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 ding. You know, they said God would move for some of us. What do you think it means when someone can hold more energy than the other person? What do you think it means? Do you like this? And now they're coming and listening to Spiritual Court TV, or they're trying to plead their case, or they're trying to pretend that they're not that bad, while they're still trying to lie on us. I had to deal with this, and I'm like, why is this even normal? Why is it normal to start trying to screw someone when you decide to divorce them, or leave them for your ex, or leave them for someone who was your girlfriend, or fuck, whatever? I'm just saying. But why do you have to screw the other person? Is it like a rule? And those masculine, they go from one woman to another, uh, talking about the other one, making them all jealous. I mean, like, talking about demonic possession. They called on so many demons, and statistically, according to Spiritual Court TV, women are doing it mostly. But unfortunately, because they hold on to that man so tight, and yet they tell him that we hold on to him, right? Like, we aren't even there, nor do we call on demons. I personally think a lot of them are just like literally, well, first of all, the energy is being sucked, but also there's clearly some kind of possession. I mean, if you're drinking alcohol and those women add something to it, and then, you know, cocaine or whatever, everyone's doing drugs now. Seriously, this is like Neptune in reverse. Neptune in Pisces and in reverse. I don't know, no, in Scorpio. What is happening, people? I think this is giving information or making information available that maybe shouldn't be available, but you're making it publicly available to people who are not. And I'm not talking about those who um, recite the books from Gnostic knowledge and scriptures, and who teach people quantum mechanics or whatever. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about people who just put random spells out there. And funny enough, apparently some of the people who are now stripped of their all of their divine privileges and powers had uh, an opportunity to rise, and instead they decided to go after an earth angel. And I'm looking at my family and I'm like, what did I do? What did I bring into, I mean, maybe it's into our life, because I'm looking at my masculine. I mean, like, okay, this one's, I mean, literally, he's done things recently. He's not my masculine, first of all. X, even though that means love. But, you know, and I'm a psychotherapist, so I'm qualified. Not just dark triad. No, there is all four of those things, sadism including pretending to be an avoidant. And I'm like, wait, I've known this person for close to 20 years. Well, maybe not, maybe I'm exaggerating. I'm like, and I'm pretty good at reading energies. And I remember that there was some change in him at some point. And he did have some tendencies, but all four, I mean, he didn't kill anyone yet, as far as I know. But still, he's exhibiting all of them. Oh, there you go, psycho. But if you look at psychotic, excuse me, highly impulsive, thrill-seeking, callous, low empathy, well, it's considered to be most malevolent, but like low empathy and no empathy isn't the same thing. For some reason I'm putting cards, but narcissist, grandiose, prideful, egoistic, lack of empathy. I don't know what's better, low empathy or lack of empathy. Self-promotion, craves admiration, entitled, and acts superior. And isn't it a pandemic of people that are literally behaving this way, organizations behaving this way, countries behaving this way? And I've got a moon and a high priestess, which means high priestess is in her feelings because, well, so under the hermit, magician, and the devil, there is 10 of cups. You all know what I'm saying, right? Like, I don't even have to explain it. There is 10 of cups. Well, I mean, those who are watching. 10 of wands, 5 of cups, 8 of cups, and 10 of swords. This is the first time that I have seen all 10s come out in the same row. And 10 of swords is the last one. Go figure. To me, it looks like a progression of a happy family that ended up going through some kind of spiritual journey. And I thought that we're healing generational karma, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Ended up in 5 of cups energy. And like, to me, 10 of wands, it's like on one hand, it's end of that journey. On the other hand, it's become a royal mess and then like spiritual warfare, basically. 5 of cups means like, you know, there is no family. Literally. The family like been ripped apart, abandoned each other, and 10 of swords, and everyone's feeling defeated at this point. And probably somewhat ashamed of how they've treated the high priestess, who is now in her feelings. And then they call me a psycho, excuse me, they call high priestesses a psycho. We're not a psycho. We're just, you know, maybe looking like this sometimes. Anxious. Also, This is, you know, a judgment angel. What did I say? And the moon again. But, you know, this moon is more like, you know, intuition, seeing in the dark and seeing in dark. Because the next one is the narc. Grandiose, privileged. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why High Priestess is upset, because, like, we thought those masculine will rise, and then we're seeing them turn into all four of those dyadic people. So it turns out an emperor, even upright, yeah, and I just got High Priestess is Five of Swords with an Emperor and Justice. Oh, you go figure. I'm not even like doing this right now. I'm gonna do this later because like I already seen this whole story and everyone knows how it goes, right? But I have not seen or expected this level of conniving from people I know, honestly. And I have seen them change from normal people to people who act possessed, seriously. And they would all be saying same or similar things. And I know that they're gossiping, but I do believe there is more than that. So I think this availability of magical resources turn people into well, now we've got a bunch of demons running around. So, you know, and guess who is celebrating? Look at that. Pretending to be an avoidant this entire time. You know, how cute. Avoidant, a magician, right? Like, or whatever you call it. Mug. You know, that I made that. Machiavellian manipulation. Even that, we were like, okay, fine. You know, men don't know how to stop manipulating. We get that. But then they started to show sadistic tendencies. And I'm like, no, that's not, that isn't what avoidant looks like. And complete, not just lack of empathy, void of it. And some men, after years of living with those karmics, yeah, no avoidance, they start to look like zombies. And they don't seem to care about anything. I'm like, what is this? Tower. Two, I'm sorry. There's two towers in a row. And the Son of Pentacles. Yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, I know we are fighting some kind of holy war, but at the same time, I know that those masculines aren't like devil or full-blown demon, but like there's such a clear possession which they are not even really seeing. They are not seeing it. Now we've got a Father of Pentacles, death in the bathtub. I'm just saying. What can I say? Here you go. But upright. Because they all think that they are upright. 6 of Wands. So this lack of recognition, that's what it is. That's what the tarot is telling me. That basically those masculines that are fixated on their careers and prosperity, and sometimes they even want prosperity for their families, but they're so selfish and self-centered because, you know, I didn't even read the sages, but all of them are selfish. And self-centered like a 5-year-old, literally. And add to that low emotional intelligence, and they cannot tell apart. They literally could not recognize or tell apart someone who is, you know, they'll look at the devil and think it's an angel. And this is not transformation. This does not look like transformation here. This looks like they're just ashamed and or oh yeah. And then the emperors came out. Maybe they are really in the bathtub. I mean, I usually consider that empress to be in reverse, even though she's cute. Five of Pentacles. And by the way, some of those women are happy right now that those men don't have money. You know why? Because they can't leave. Sorry. Ay, ay, ay. So what are we gonna do? I heard someone say months ago, yeah, strength, empress. Yeah, like she's holding them by the throat with her, like, constant deceits, lies, trickery. She really possesses Machiavellian. Like, I don't even think men are, yeah, pretending that they're like soulmates. They're soulmates. They're soulmates. Behind his back, she's doing black magic and sold his soul to the devil. Some of those women don't even care if they sell their children to devils at this point, because, and also many of them are drinking and taking substances. But now I see the Chariot, Ace of Wands, and the Star. Right. So not only they are, not only those women are faking, pretending that they are, you know, emperors and maybe even a high priestess and a soulmate, but they also flatter those people, men. See, now finally she's coming out in reverse. They just flatter them. They tell those men what those men want to hear, and those men believe that, yeah, the emperor is here. Celebrating, they're celebrating. Can you imagine that? They think those women are mothers of pentacles, queens of pentacles, or prosperous, you know, beings, just because they are flashy and show off and pretend that they have money. And that they throw parties, you know, and whatever. And then those men are like, oh, but I have to also spend money on her. But then, you know, because they flattered them and they made them feel like that they're so self-important because they make money, you know, they try real hard to pretend that they're charitable and also pretend that they have the money. And so behind the scenes, while they are behaving in a very psychotic way, they're trying to pretend to the karmic that they have money. Karmics are trying to pretend to the masculine that they have money. Everyone is doing black magic behind the scenes. And now we have demons running loose and scaring people. I'm not even kidding. If you think that, like, you were afraid of weapons of mass destruction, what about a bunch of, like, okay, a bunch of zombies is one thing, but what about a bunch of zombies that are mind controlled by a demon? You know, like this one. This one's, well, that's not a demon. And it's not even real. This is just a figure. But that's one of the plans that some people try to actually get. You know, see, this is wires. It's not real. But it's just like, you know, a sample to show people what it is. The Lovers came out. I stopped following the tarot at this point, and the Father of Cups. Yeah, and they keep telling us that they love us, but like you try, oh, who loves us? So far, not one person, well, for me anyway, was brave enough to stand up to that Empress in reverse, or to, and there's more than one, of course, but I'm just sitting here going like, well, so who is gonna fight this? Or what I heard long time ago is that we're gonna end up praying for those people who hurt us. And I was not in the best of moods all day today because I'm trying to come to terms that, you know, the masculine that I consider to be, well, at least worthy of my friendship in the future turned out to be a full blown dark whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it, but it's hard to like realize that, and then you remember some sweet moments and you're like, is this even possible? Are they beyond redemption or not? Like if they are possessed, who know? Oh yeah, and nobody knows how to do the exorcism. No one. But we do, people. We do. We just need to stop calling more demons, because it's like this Florida and pythons situation in the swamps. What did they end up doing? Oh yeah, they found the king snake finally. So where is our king? We're waiting for Jesus. Well, have a good night, everyone.